You guys, I am so excited for this one. Beyond nerdified excited because I had a gigantic epiphany the other day. This is something that I think has been brewing for a while. You know those ideas that are sort of floating around your head and you can't quite wrap your mind around them, and then all of a sudden you have a couple conversations and everything just clicks? That's what happened for me with this. And as soon as it did, I started thinking through it, and then I explained it to someone and they were like, yeah, that sounds right. And then I explained it to a couple more people and they were like, yeah, that totally describes me. And then I started thinking, okay, this describes the exact thing that we went through. And everything started clicking for me. So I know this live stream is a little later than I had announced, but I put together slides because I really wanted to teach this in depth. I feel like we could spend hours on this, literally. And someday maybe it'll turn itself into a whole entire course. I don't know. But here's the thing. I just absolutely can't wait to share it because it just made things so much more clear for me. It made it feel like I just wasn't stuck anymore. And when I was trying to explain to people, when they would say, but I feel like I've plateaued. I feel like I was doing things and it was working, and now I just feel like I've been stagnant. If that is you, if you've been feeling stagnant, please listen to this. Because I want to help you understand that A, it's completely normal to feel like you're feeling right now. B, there's some pretty simple things that you can do to push beyond that. You just have to know what they are. You have to recognize what step you're on before you can actually move forward. So I am so excited for this, you guys. I can't even see any comments, so I'll have to jump back in the Facebook group because it's not showing me the live stream. But thank you for coming on Tuesday Night Fever, you guys. If you're on here live, just comment live. If you made it on the replay, comment replay so that I can see you and know that you're out there. And guys, this is just massively exciting because we're going to be uncovering something that I just feel like so many people beat themselves up about with where they're at. And tonight we're talking about online business and figuring out where you're at in terms of building a business. But it applies whether you have an actual online business or you have a brick and mortar practice and you're trying to get yourself out there online. This is just, it's everything. And I really want to break down the steps that people need to take from start to like the point that we're at, really, because I can't teach you anything beyond that. But the point where we have a business that's providing Will and I with a full-time income, and now we're scaling. I just can't wait. So if you're on here, a bunch of people are on here live. Love it. Thank you for coming on. Eric's on here. Josue's on here. Russ, Jeff. Good to see you guys. Bert's on. So my kids may come running in the background because they're just getting home. They're just going to have to wait because this is going to be so fire, you guys. All right, let's open up the live stream so I can actually see everyone. Perfect. All right. You guys ready for some slides? Let's slide this crap up. Let's see if Zoom will let me share my screen. I think it will because this is the intent. All right, screen is shared. You're going to see like duplicates of yourself here for a minute. Boom. Okay, let me know if you can see this. This I'm calling the online business staircase. We might as well call it online growth, online business growth, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to be talking about identifying the stair that you are on right now and figuring out how to ascend to the next step. Also showing you the roadmap for what things you need to be able to do in order to get to full-time income, if that's your goal online, or to be able to get to the point where people are seeing you regularly, they're coming to you regularly and paying you regularly in your business, whether that's online or in person, okay? First thing to understand is this. Growth is not linear in business. It's just not. And so if you feel like you had an initial burst of growth when you first started off and then you plateaued, let's understand that this is completely normal, okay? I want you to think about how kids grow and develop. I took a child development class before we had my first baby, not because I was going to be that great of a father, but because I had to choose an elective and child development was right up my alley. I thought I'd be a pediatric PT, and so I took it, right? The one thing that I remember so clearly when I took that class was that the principle of kids grow in steps, in a stepwise fashion, right? And you can tell when they're about to grow physically. They'll eat a bunch, and then it's like, oh my gosh, you just shot up overnight. But their development is also stepwise. They'll cruise along for a little bit, and then they'll make a big gain in something over the course of a couple days, maybe a week. And then they'll plateau for a little bit. Then they'll learn a new skill. Boom, a big bump up in how they've grown. And we just see that it's not a linear growth pattern with kids. If you've got them, please tell me if I'm right. That's how it happens with my kids, is they've got a big growth spurt per se, and then it levels off, and another big one, and it levels off. We have to understand that growth online is also non-linear. So don't beat yourself up if you feel like you've kind of hit a plateau. To be honest, I feel like this is life, guys. We come up to a challenge, we feel like it's a huge one, we ascend, and then we coast for a little bit. Now, whether the coasting is us getting lazy or it's just us settling into that new level of action, that new level of being, whatever, but it happens, and it happens to all of us. So let's not beat ourselves up about it, okay? The second thing that we need to understand is that if growth is nonlinear, there are steps to take. Then we have to understand, what step am I on, and what do I need to do to get to the next step? Recognizing it is half the battle, okay? So tonight I want to give you the tools to be able to identify where you are at specifically right now, to be able to identify, okay, if I'm feeling these things, this is a sign of where I'm at and a sign of what I need to do to grow. And I want to give you some exact things to do to grow towards that next step. Whether you're just starting off or whether you're scaling a six-figure income up, I'm going to cover the whole gamut. This is going to be a little bit longer of a live stream, okay? I would highly suggest you grab some notes, something to write things down. This is like, treat this like a training, okay? I mean, I put like webinar level effort into this over the past little bit as I mapped everything out because I really want you to get this, and I want you to have this win, okay? Oh man, I just can't wait for this. All right, let's stop teasing you. I don't have the live stream up because my computer's showing this instead of the live stream. So I'll pull it up on my phone. As you have questions or comments, put them down below. I would love to know what step you feel like you're on. Sorry, you're going to hear my audio here for just a second as I mute that. All right. Jeff, thank you for tagging everyone, man. Daniel, you have come on live because you're just rocking it, man. Now I want to talk about your next step, dude, as you're moving on, okay? Here we go. Step one. So this is a big, giant step. This is the baseline. As we're moving from the basement to our very first step, I think that the first step in online business is you developing your voice and you finding a voice. Okay, when everyone thinks about starting an online business, it's not 0 to 60, guys. This is how we progress from 0. First, you find a voice. Daniel, you have found your voice over the past 2 weeks. Daniel's gone live every single day on his personal page. He's done some crazy stuff. He was wearing a banana suit yesterday to finish off his 14 days. And whether that is your voice or not, Daniel, what you've done and what everyone needs to do is to realize that they have something within them to share with the world. So the very first thing is just figuring out the skills that you need to actually emit your voice out there. For some of you, it's going to be putting yourself out there on Facebook Lives. For some of you, it's going to be posting for the first time. For some of you, it's going to be creating YouTube content or blog posts, okay? It's developing those hard skills first. Next, by the way, I did a whole live stream on how to do live streams. I have a checklist. You can go search in the Facebook group for live stream. I think it's live stream checklist, or just search live stream in healthcare digital marketing. And you can get a checklist that we're putting together right now. In fact, the VA team is putting together our live stream checklist. If that's where you're at, then that's where you should be focusing on, okay? Next is posts. You do need to get good at writing posts. It is a skill. And Chanel is incredible at it. If you don't know Chanel Yoder, you got to look into her and her course. I also love the perfect post formula. Y'all know that. If you haven't seen it, go search it. I think we actually have the checklist up and live now, healthyfunnel.com/perfectpost, where you can search it here in the group again. And I came up with a formula for how I like to do my posts. This very post that you're reading right now, if you're on the live stream, is one of those posts, okay? The third step here, or the third part of creating or finding your voice, is just figuring out content planning, figuring out what the heck am I going to talk about in the first place, okay? I love breaking things into threes. I did a whole live stream again on the 3 types of content that you could be creating. If you're just starting off, these are the things that you need to master. Just getting comfortable in front of camera, figuring out how to have a voice. I think that going live is one of the best ways to do it because it just forces you to come up with stuff. Daniel says, no matter what, you must wear a banana outfit. Thank you, man. I haven't worn a banana outfit yet. someone sent it to me, maybe I would. And yeah, David, the lumpy ladder post, man, you know it. That's one of the 3 content types. This is a lumpy ladder post for sure, or if you just want to call it a ladder post. But first step is finding your voice, okay? And it's actually creating those skills to where you can go live. Then people always tell me, well, I've started doing this. I just feel like I'm burning out a little bit. I feel like I'm starting to run on empty. I feel like I'm plateauing. Well, great. The next step in this staircase is what's going to get you past that. So once you've mastered these things, what's the next step on your list? It's messaging. Now it's going from just having a voice and putting yourself out there to really developing your message. Obviously, we got to figure out who you're talking to in the first place. It has a lot to do with it, right? Figuring out your target audience, really starting to hone that in. But then really looking at objectively what clicks with people. Daniel, you're on here live. Gabby, Kristen, those of you who are creating content, we got to get separated emotionally from the social outcome of putting ourselves out there. I want that to sink in. You have to emotionally separate yourself from the outcome of putting yourself out there on social media. That means I cannot base my self-worth on likes, loves, comments, views. What I have to do is I have to put on my scientist hat, because a lot of us in here, almost all of us in here, have at some point been trained in research and data analytics at some level. We got to put on our researcher cap with this and say, what's clicking? How many likes? How many comments? How many people are reaching out to me after I do a certain type of post? Figure out what clicks objectively. Okay. Next, we got to learn teaching and engagement techniques. Some really basic teaching techniques. We teach this in our program, Social Secrets. If you're new to all this online stuff, you're just putting yourself out there, I'd highly recommend checking out Social Secrets. It's called, I think it's socialsecrets101.com. And it's a cheap course that teaches you how to start doing this stuff. It's for the people who are on the first 1 and 2 steps of this staircase. Learn how to teach, not just present information, but how to teach, how to get engagement, how to prompt engagement. Okay. Daniel says, but can we base our success on that? No, we cannot base our success on the results. We're just using it to figure out what works, right? After you learn the teaching and engagement techniques, a lot of the stuff that we've taught here in this group, we got to look at taking the conversations that people are starting to have with us and turning that into topics. That's one of the biggest changes that we made early on, that I made personally, was going from, okay, I think I know what to talk about, to, hey, someone asked me a question. I had a conversation with someone. I'll just turn that into a Tuesday Night Fever. I'll just turn that into a live stream, or that into a blog post, or that into a YouTube video. That's when we're starting to take things that we think is important and saying, okay, now what are people actually telling me is important? I'm getting my messaging down, taking conversations, turning them into topics for my content, okay? And the next thing at this step, it's a good sign that we're here if we're getting consistent inbound messages, or people reaching out to us on a consistent basis saying, hey, I really like that post, or hey, I had a question about this thing. Okay, this is sort of a sign to know that we're at this stage where we're really starting to hit our messaging. But then we get to a point where we start to plateau again, and we say, oh crap, I'm hitting the messaging. I feel like I'm getting the engagement, but I'm not making any money. I'm really not. And I really don't know how to make that money. That's when it's a sign that we've hit our messaging, right? Especially if we're getting those inbound messages all the time, then this is the point when we start looking at how do we monetize. And that's the next step of this, okay? The key to monetizing, guys, is looking at it's a simple equation. What's the problem that people are presenting you with? And what's the solution that you can create for them? You do not have to come up with some novel idea, some brand new, amazing thing to sell to people. You don't have to. People are going to tell you what problems they have. And then they're going to tell you what solutions to create for them, right? That's ultimately what monetizing is about. For Will and I, it was saying, hey, a lot of people have questions about Facebook ads in healthcare. Well, great, let's create a solution to help people implement Facebook ads into their marketing. So we created a course. And then we went a step or two deeper and we said, well, if we help you create Facebook ads, what else do you need to have in place for those to be successful? Well, you got to have like a whole marketing plan in place. And we were finding that people came to us thinking that they needed Facebook ads when really they needed an entire marketing plan. So that's what we created. That's our program, Ads for Physical Therapists. If you're at that step where you're like, hey, I do have this problem. I'm starting to put myself out there, but I have no system to implement. Well, then Ads for Physical Therapists might be good to look into. Just saying. But that's how we monetize. We find the problem that they're telling us that they have, and we go create the solution for them. Another key is understanding business models. A lot of you online, if you're building an online business, will be in the info product business model. Really, there's two of them. It's either coaching or it's done for you services. Some combination of those two to simplify it. For a lot of people who create online courses, it's going to be the info product business model where you're creating a product, you're recording videos, or you're writing it down into a book. Maybe you're putting some coaching in there with it, but we have to create an offer around that, right? And that's kind of the next step is basic offer creation. We don't need to get all super crazy into this, but offer creation is what ultimately gets people to purchase at a high level from you. It's really easy to sell a $97 product. You just kind of have to throw up a, hey, this is the problem, here's the solution, it's $97. That's easy, but that's also not something that's going to really drive your business, okay? We could talk all about doing beta launches. This is where I'd look into doing a beta launch, where I'd look into like, the early product development. We talk with people about this a lot. If you're at the point where you're an online business and you have an audience and you're at this point where you're engaging them, they're sending you messages all the time. We just talked with two guys today, QB docs, who are awesome, Dusty and Drew, who have a massive audience. And they're just at the point where they're talking about, okay, what do we do to monetize? Well, we've got to come up with an offer for that, okay? So am I teaching you every single thing that you need to know on here? No, but I am telling you what are the next things that you should focus on, because I don't want you chasing shiny objects, chasing things that are way up this staircase when you should be focusing on the next step. My goal for everyone is that you create a business for yourself that's actually profitable. And in order to do that, you have to focus on the next step, okay? So after we come up with our offer, we got to figure out basic sales, which is creating a message that's clear enough, that speaks to people's pain points, that overcomes their objections enough to actually purchase, okay? And then we have to focus at this stage on getting people results. That's the biggest indicator of future success is, can you get people results? It doesn't matter the price point. Can you get them results? At $97, at $1,000, at $5,000, whatever your price point, can you get them results? Jose, good to see you on here, man. I have a message that I need to respond to from you. Good to see you, man. Next, after we get through creating your basic offer and we've monetized, we've got someone to buy, now we got to look at actually creating profits for yourself. Will and I went through this. When we created our very first product, it was $97. We monetized. That was still not bringing home the bacon in terms of an actual business. And you shouldn't have that expectation that the first thing you launch is going to drive a full-time income for you. That's just not how it works usually. But then what we do is we take the results that we've had with those people, we take the feedback that they've given us, and we look at the obstacles that they had along the way, and then we create a really complete offer. That's when Will and I took our Ads for PTs course, our very, very first $97 course. And then we said, okay, how do we create an entire offer around this so that it's fulfilling everything that someone needs if they're starting at zero in their marketing? We created an entire offer around it. We built in virtual assistant support. We built in how to find your target audience, how to message to your target audience, how to create lead magnets, how to create the little website pages that you need in order to run profitable Facebook ads. That's when we said, okay, let's work in Google ads as well. Then let's work in coaching so that they can get feedback from us. It's a complete offer. And that's where we went from side hustle income to full-time income, to six-figure income from creating a full offer. By the way, if this is something that you want help with, this is the stuff that Will and I are focused on right now. If you're a brick and mortar PT business who needs to set up your online marketing, talk to us. Like send me or Will a message. We can see if Ads for PTs is a good fit for you. If you're wanting to do this process in an online business, talk to us. This is Will and I just created our online business incubator. We're helping multiple businesses go through this portion of it right now, taking a business that has engagement, I should say, a following that has engagement, an audience that's sending you messages that you're getting, maybe you've had some first sales with, and you want to take that into a real online business, talk to us. We've helped a lot of people do that recently because we figured this system out. So we know the steps and we know how to help you implement them. Next thing is sales systems, not just how to sell, but setting up a sales system. This is where the whole like funnels side comes in, right? And being able to actually fulfill on an offer, set up automated things so that as someone purchases from you, boom, they're put into your offer immediately. You're triggering the people that you need to come in and help you with this offer. It's a sales system, okay? Next, at this stage, we're going from people are getting results and they're noticeable results. Those results are now bringing you new leads. People are telling other people about what you're doing. We're in this stage where people who have taken ads for PTs are getting great results. They're seeing, oh, I have a whole marketing system in place for my PT business. Shoot, they're telling friends. That's how we're growing our business. Or the people who are in our online business incubator, who y'all have seen a lot of them killing it right now online. And at some point, we'll actually start talking about their results. Maybe they have already talked to you about it already, but our results drive new business for us, and it will for you too. And then we move to the stage where we start building awareness of our brand, of our message, of our core mission through ads. At this point, we're still not driving. We're still not necessarily like, hey, I'm going to a webinar. We're building awareness, okay, at this point. We're profiting because we're getting awareness, getting people into our sales system at this point. I hope this is good. Jose, thank you, man. I appreciate the love. Jose and I had a call a little while ago. He's in the keto space and killing it with his group, right? You've been through this, Jose, because you've seen how you had a group that was engaged, and then you moved them from engagement to having an offer, and now you're putting that offer out there, right? Now, is that the final step? No, once we put the offer out there, then you got to move to the next step. And you're probably starting to move from monetization right into the profit phase, Jose. We should talk about that, man, to make it go smoother. But the next step, the final step, is going from profitable, you're making money. Heck, at this point, you might even be able to quit your job, right? Now we're scaling it. We turn our business, not just the awareness, but our business actually turns on at this point with ads, meaning it's not just awareness anymore, but I'm actually creating sales as a result of the ads that I have on. Next, I'm replicating myself out of my offer. What does that mean? Does it mean I'm stepping away from the business? No. But what it does mean is that I'm taking myself, my time out of the offer by replicating it in different ways. I'm creating assets that answer questions that I frequently have. I'm sitting here and saying, okay, who could I train to do things that are low dollar value for me, or that someone else could realistically be trained to do in my stead? This is when I'm taking business ownership and making it serious. Right now, I'm not just in the business, but I'm a business owner. Replicate yourself out of your offer. It's something that's really hard for everyone to do. It's been hard for Will and I to do. But we've started to do it more and more. At this point, Ads for PTs runs really well. It's a well-oiled machine without us teaching 100% of it. Our course is there. The program is there. The funnels are there. The virtual assistant is there. The onboarding specialist is there. We're not the ones doing all that, but the system works because we've set it up that way to replicate ourselves out of the offer. Now, are we still giving one-on-one coaching with that? Yeah, of course, because that's how we like to take care of people. But it doesn't mean that we're fulfilling 100% on the hours that someone is actually using our program, which is super cool. Next, I think this is so cool. I heard this last week at Funnel Hacking Live. Someone, his name's Spencer Meekum. He's just a really brilliant dude, has blown his business up. He does affiliate marketing. And he said, at this point, the only things that I do in my business are those that require my face or my personality. And this is, again, the stage where we're looking at how can we build a team around you so that it's your face or your personality. Will and I are undergoing this right now. We are in scaling mode right now. We will very shortly be turning on the always-on business ads. Now, do we have ads running that are awareness ads? Yeah, but we don't have the always-on business ads on just yet. But that's our next step. We're replicating ourselves out of our offers, meaning putting ourselves in a place where we're not fulfilling 100% on the work, right? We're not trading time for money at this point. Who else here does not want to trade time for money? If you're on this live stream right now, just say me if you don't want to trade time for money, because this is ultimately where all of us need to get to, right? This is ultimately where all of us want to get to. Not trading time for money. But you can't do that if you're not willing to give up some control. And if you're not willing to give up some piece of fulfillment of your offer to someone else. Dallin, good to see you on here. Sharon, Spencer, Asha, great to see y'all on here. So this is the online business staircase. I don't want you focusing on things that are up here at the scaling side or the profiting side or the monetizing side if you're still at voice, coming up with a voice, or if you're still in the messaging phase. Now it helps you realize what you should and should not be focusing on at each stage. I really hope this, I want to drive this home so much. Everyone focuses on this stuff up here, the profit and scale side, way too early. Way too early. If Will's on here, Will knows that we get questions every single day from people who are trying to do the profiting and the scaling side. It's like, look, you don't even have your messaging down yet. Or people are reaching out to you, but we don't even have a basic offer in place to monetize them yet. We don't need to be running ads. So if you're sitting here, you feel overwhelmed with it, that's okay. The takeaway is it's okay to feel like you've made progress and then plateaued, because that's how online business works. That's how business works, period. But what you do need to know is, where are you at in this staircase? Are you at the point of just developing your voice, where it's more about the skill sets of putting yourself out there? Are you at the point where you're honing in your messaging, where you're really starting to look at, who is my target audience? What is it that they're telling me? What are the metrics telling me about when I'm putting myself out there? Are you at the point where you're monetizing, where you've just started to create an offer, you're starting to make money with it? If you're an online business, this is exactly the sweet spot where Will and I are helping people right now. We're helping people go from monetizing to really creating big profits from it, to really building a business, and then to scaling that. If you're in these lower first few steps, that's what all the free content in the Facebook group is for. It's to elevate you up here to the point where we can help you really blow things up. So Melissa says she's at the voice. Awesome. So you should be going back through this and look at those references that I mentioned. I've done a lot of live streams on how to move from voice into the messaging stage recently, Melissa. We've done a lot about messaging to monetization. And now Will and I are focusing very heavily in our program in the Online Business Incubator in helping people monetize, then create actual profit, create a real business income from it so that they can step away from their full-time position if they want to and make their business online their full-time. And then helping people scale who are already very profitable right now. We're saying, all right, what systems do we need to have in place? What people do we need to have in place? What ads do we need to have in place? What marketing, so that you can scale it? We're helping people at all three of these stages in that Online Business Incubator. If you think that's something that you'd like help with, you can just say incubator right now. If you feel like you're at one of these three stages, monetizing, profiting, or scaling, just say incubator. We'll get in touch with you. We'll show you how we're working with people, see if it's a good fit. But this is the platform that I just feel like everyone's going to pass through these stages. So Russell, you might still be at the voice stage. Someone might be at the messaging stage. That's okay. It's okay to feel like you've been stuck at this messaging stage for a while. What should you do if you're stuck there? Well, look at what people in the monetizing stage are focusing on. Focus on those things right now. If you're monetizing, but it's not full-time income yet, well, then start looking at the profit stage. Look at creating really good offers. Look at being able to set up systems for you to sell. Learn how to really sell. Because at the monetizing stage, when we're just making some money, we still don't really know how to sell. That's when we get into the profitable side of things. And then from there, we scale. So I hope this has been helpful, because I want you to focus on what you actually need to be doing right now, but also to feel like if you've plateaued a little bit, it's actually a really good sign, because it means you're ready for that next step up, which is really fun, because that's when we start having more impact. We start being able to realize what it is that we want to do in the world and start getting paid for that. And it's just so fun. This is all a game, you guys. It's like Monopoly. These are the rules. These are the different levels. If this were an online game, nerd alert, I used to play World of Warcraft, okay? I loved the whole like leveling up thing. Actually, my big thing in the game was I got into the economy of it and I made lots of money in the game. It was ridiculous, but it's all a game. These are just different levels in the game. There's different skills that you need to learn in each level of the game, different missions, if you will, different tasks that you got to go accomplish. Treat it like that. Okay, today, over the next month, I'm going to move from voice to messaging. What do I need to do to make that happen? Okay, my mission today is figuring out these skills. Okay, I'm moving from monetizing to profiting. All right, what are the skills that I need to learn? Who do I need to go get help from so that it doesn't take me 6 months to get from monetizing to profiting? Maybe it could take me 2 if I have the right person on board. Treat it like a game. Take the mission on that you need to next. Don't try to attack something that's anyone who played WoW here, please tell me. But if you were a level 30 character and you went up against a level 50 character, like you were getting squashed, right? You would feel totally overwhelmed. You get beat into the ground immediately. You were dead. If you are at the messaging phase of your business and you're trying to attack profit, you're going to feel squashed. You're going to feel absolutely overwhelmed and you're not going to make any progress. So stick with the level that you're on right now. Go do that thing. Go watch this. And you know what? Should we put this into like a cheat sheet? Would that be helpful? If it would, just say cheat sheet. Jeff, Jeff will help me create one because we're bringing people now into our world to help us create things. Jeff Denning, if you don't know, is amazing at summarizing content. If you feel like you like a cheat sheet on each of these levels and what to focus on, and maybe we can even, this should be a mini course really, to linking people to all the resources that we've created, because we've created resources to ascend to every single level at this point. And once you're up at the level where you're really making money, then it becomes very profitable for you to do that. So Asha says cheat sheet. Russell says cheat sheet. Jeff, it looks like we're going to be doing a cheat sheet, man. Thank you guys so much. This is just to review real quick. Let me go back for those who are just hopping in. To review, everything is stepwise in business. The first step is creating a voice. It's finding the skills, learning how to post, learning content planning. Then we move to messaging, where you figure out what clicks. You learn how to teach and engage. You move from having conversations with people to making that the topics for your content. And we have consistently people reaching out to you to message you. Then we move to monetizing it, where we figure out what's the problem that people are telling me they have, what's the solution that I need to create. We figure out what business model you'll be running under and create an offer that fits the problem and the business model. And then we learn basic sales to get results for people. Next, we profit by diving deep into advanced offer design. We come up with sales systems, first organically, meaning the free ones using social media, and then we start getting into the paid systems. We really focus on driving results for people so that we get new leads from that business and we ask for testimonials. Then we start building awareness through ads so that we're just getting people into our pipeline so that ultimately we can scale by having our business always be on with ads. It's always bringing in revenue. We replicate ourselves out of the offer, and then we're only focusing on things that require our face or our personality. Guys, this is the online business staircase. And please let us know where you feel like you need help with right now. Let us know, drop it in the comments, what stage you're at, what you feel like you need help with right now. We'll create content around that or point you towards the content that we've already created. If you've made it this far, take the initiative to call yourself out right now and say where you're at, what stage, what stair, and what you feel like you need help with, okay? What specific skill or next thing do you need to do? And we'll make it happen. Guys, this has been Tuesday Night Fever, the online business staircase. If this has been valuable, just say value below. I'll know to do more stuff like this. If you like slides, by the way, do you guys like slides like this? I don't always do slides, but I felt like I wanted to tonight. It was just so much stuff. I had to organize it in my brain. At some point, I want to probably make a mini course out of this for you guys or something that dives deeper into it. But were slides useful? Yes, slides. No slides. Just put it down in the comments, and I'll be happy to make more for future trainings if you guys like this stuff. Thank you so much. This has been Tuesday Night Fever. I love you guys. Go make this happen. Focus on what you need to do, not on what everyone else is doing up the rest of the staircase. Even though you see them doing it, it is not what you have to be doing right now. I've just outlined what you need to be focusing on. Go focus on it. Go make it happen. Take imperfect action. We'll see you on the next step, guys.